right. Hi, I'm Angélique Roché. I am hosting here at Ace Comic Con. And I am so excited because I'm not joined by just one Evans, but two Evanses. The Evans brothers, Chris and Scott Evans, for Ace Comic Con today to have a little bit of a conversation. Hi, y'all.
How are you? Good to see you.
Good to see you too. It literally feels like it's been forever.
Yeah, I thought you were going to say it feels like it was yesterday. It feels like it's been a billion years.
It's been a billion years. I mean, it's been an eventful year. And Scott, this is my first time actually meeting you digitally.
Yes, but it still feels like it was just yesterday.
It's just yesterday or 5 minutes ago.
Sure.
So I'm really excited. Y'all have such a fun and interesting career. I got a shout out to all of the fans. We got over 2,000 questions. Everybody wants to know all the things. But let's start off with the basics. I don't want to ignore the fact that we're in a panorama, a pandemic, a personal pan pizza, however people want to say it. And you guys have been having a scary, fun time over the last couple of months. You know, it's been well established y'all are both really close. You know each other very well. You know, how has it been? You've had some time cohabitating. There's some scare wars going on. Like, what has the last year been like for y'all? And what is your creative routines? Like, how has that changed or adjusted since y'all have been kind of having some more brother time? I'll leave it at that.
Sure. Well, we spent almost all of 2020 together. You know, he bailed out of LA when everything went down last March, and he just kind of, you know, hit out with me in Massachusetts in my house, and you know, we became kids again. We were just playing games, and yeah, we did start scaring each other. When did we start doing that? Was that around the holiday?
It wasn't until like December, and I don't even know why it started. It was just like one night I got a really good one, and I was like, wow, these reactions are incredible. Let's keep going. And then he stepped up his game for sure, and was like running around the house when I was like walking.
You know, I didn't even post that one yet.
I know. I
had one when he was leaving the garage, and I went out a different exit, ran around the house, and I was a good one. Problem is, it was dark. You couldn't really see your facial expressions.
Which was the messed up, because
your
we made
scares
the rule
aren't as good. You just kind of freeze. You know what I mean? You don't really like let it out. You just kind of lock up.
That's the younger sibling thing, though. Look, Scott, I'm the younger sibling, so I get it. There's always gonna be that little bit of a gap, and like that's the older brother, and they're always gonna know you more because there was about 4 or 5 years you didn't know yourself that they knew more about you.
Well, exactly, and then you just become them. It's like, I don't know myself, but I should be like him. I'm gonna do what he's doing.
We just gotta get you the rest of the beard to go with the mustache, and it's.
I had it yesterday.
Yeah. That's the number one question we should be talking about: the mustache.
I mean, Bobby, you had one for a while, so hey, I'm just you're my influence. So.
Look, it's impressive, first of all. Okay, so but you scared each other, which clearly is a form of creativity. I'm gonna stretch on that one. But have y'all picked up each other's habits? Did Scott I just looked at him anyway. I already had his habits, but like, did you guys end up learning some things from each other?
Well, it was funny because when we first, he said last year it was going to be like a 2-week lockdown. He was like, come home for it. And I was like, all right. And I was home with him, and then, 2 weeks turned into 3, and then 4, and then 2 months and 3 months. And, we started, like he said, it was just, instead of, picking up on each other's habits, we wanted to just kind of relive stuff that we used to do growing up, and we got some wiffle balls and a wiffle ball bat. We were playing Mario Kart every day. We made a list of a bunch of movies that we hadn't seen in a while, and it was like Rockadoodle and The Page Master and all these chapters.
I'm sorry, did you say Rockadoodle?
Rockadoodle.
Yeah,
yes.
Did we watch Rock? I don't know. It was on the list. Did we get to Rockadoodle?
Oh, we watched Rockadoodle, and I think the whole time we were just like, this. We weren't sure if it quite.
It's about a rooster who's a rockabilly.
Up as well, though. What were some other ones we watched?
We watched American Tail, which
American Tail is
honestly
Fievel?
That one. That one's great. We didn't get to Fievel Goes West, though, did we?
No, we did not get to Five Goes West, but it was a huge list, and we still have a ton left on the list.
Yeah.
So now it's like when we're home.
I feel like there's a group watch that has to happen with Five Goes West, and I feel like this is a thing that needs to happen.
Yeah, Care Bear movies, we knocked them out. I mean, this whole interview could just be about movies.
I clearly there's some things we need to talk about in regards to movie watching and everything, because these all also seem animated, which I truly enjoy. Is that you've not said one live action movie yet.
No, it was mostly animated movies.
Follow That Bird. Follow That Bird was live action. Part animated.
Which is like not exactly a departure. Yeah.
Oh, okay. So I have to ask, y'all clearly are not living together right now, or I would hear each other in the same room. You know, where did we leave the scare wars off? Because I know folks are going to ask who was winning, and I already kind of know who say they were winning. I'm just wondering how this is about to pan.
How many we've shared with people. I think I have more points, but I know that he has some stored in his arsenal that he could pull out.
I still have a couple. I just didn't post them. They weren't good enough. But this isn't over. I mean, I think this is just going to keep going. I mean, we have a problem. We like doing this anyway. I love scaring people. I kind of love to be scared. I think it's like a really, I mean, don't everyone out there.
Yeah, don't. Yeah, I wouldn't. Yeah, don't. That was not an invitation.
but it is, you know, it's a fun thing. I can't help but laugh when it happens.
I love it. All right, so we cannot go through this interview without stating the obvious. You played a well-known role, Chris. Steve Rogers. I don't know if you remember playing Captain America for
vaguely. Yeah.
A long extended amount of time. Yeah. You know, but now folks have really enjoyed all these other great things. We got all these great things. Like last time we talked, it was 2 years ago before you even passed the mantle, right? Like you right. couldn't say anything. But one of the things that happened is you did have this adorable moment with a service dog who is to this day one of everyone's favorite clips. Also, every now and then, very, very curious. How is Dodger? Is he doing well? How is his recovery? And will he make a cameo?
He's doing very well. I don't know that he'll make a cameo. He's in the other room napping. I mean, we were still in the window of giving him meds to try and, you know, knock his energy down a little bit, because he was, you know, 2 days after surgery, this guy's bouncing off the walls. It's unbelievable. He's incredibly spry. I mean, he's recovered even quicker than the first time around. But we just had his little 2 or 3 week post operation checkup, and everyone said he's doing great. And, you know, I think it's going to be a seamless recovery, but yeah, we're still trying to just take it easy and make sure we don't have any hiccups down the line.
I love it. All right, so back to Captain America for 2 seconds. I got one question. So, as I said, we didn't talk about the fate of Steve Rogers. Now everyone knows the fate of Steve Rogers. He got the girl, which personally, that's all I wanted. I would be very real. I was like, he got the girl. Steve deserved love. But now Steve, he does. Well, Steve is now passed on the mantle, and Steve's 2 best friends are now... they have their own show, an original exclusive on Disney Plus. There is nothing we can say about the show. We are not going to discuss any details. I am sorry for all of those fans waiting for something to drop. Not going to do it. But what I am going to ask, did you have any words of wisdom IRL for Sebastian Stan and Anthony as you kind of passed on this mantle? And then Steve's best friends, all of them, even Sharon Carter, all of them are going to be in this really great show.
Sure. No, not really. I mean, you know, Seb has been there since as long as I've been there. You know what I mean? Seb, since the first Captain America, I was right there with the guy. So I think it might have felt a little, you know, pretentious to try and pass on wisdom. Plus, those guys are so skilled. They've been a part of the Marvel machine. They know those roles so well. And they're in really good hands. Marvel knows what it's doing. I mean, I'm thrilled. I can't wait to see this show. Because Marvel is really moving into the streaming world pretty seamlessly and pretty dominantly. I mean, I've yet to see any WandaVision episodes, but every single day it's trending. You know what I mean? So people are loving it. So again,
it's great. I watched it.
He's got the.
Scott's like, you may not have watched it, but I did.
I watched every second of it.
Feige is king. You know.
All right, so how excited are you? Clearly, I think you've already answered this question. You seem pretty excited to see the evolution of all these characters.
Yeah. Well, those two specifically, I mean, they really kind of found, somewhere, I think around Civil War, they kind of found this sort of routine going back and forth. And in real life, they gel so well. It's Marvel has such a knack for reinventing characters and finding a new. They don't just trace the same lines. They make it something fresh and unique, and it blooms in a way. So yeah, I'm excited to see that friendship become something funny and special.
I love it. Okay, so I got one more question, and then we're going to slip into some stuff that I'm really excited about asking both of you about. So, dude, your life has evolved majorly since all of that. You've got so many things. You've got The Gray Man, Little Shop of Horrors, which honestly, as a theater, musical kid, drama club nerd, I am so excited to see what's coming from that. You know, Bermuda, Lightyear. Like, fans are extra excited, though, about Buzz Lightyear as the Disney spinoff and your role in Little Shop of Horrors. What, if anything, can you tell us, and how excited are you? Also, as you grew up in theater, like both of you, like you are theater folk, right? As they say. How excited! It's Little Shop of Horrors.
Like, yeah, believe me, it's in our blood. Yeah, I mean, I'm over the moon about it. Buzz, I can't tell you much about. Little Shop, it hit the brakes for a minute. Just it had some budget issues. When COVID hit, all of a sudden, these budgets for films go through the roof, trying to make it a safe place to go to work. So, the discussions stalled a bit to a point that I was calling my team saying, "Hey, what's going on with Little Shop? What's going on with Little Shop? Who do I have to talk to? What do I have to do?" I actually just emailed Berlanti, the director, a few weeks ago, just saying, "Hey man, I haven't heard anything. What's going on?" And then he just said, it's just a little back and forth right now with Warner Brothers. I think a lot of things are up in the air, and we are living in such a rapidly changing time. So you may try and budget out a movie right now with certain COVID requirements that might change in a couple months. So for now, I think it's a little bit at a standstill, but I don't know. Hopefully, if enough people get noisy about it, it'll move it right along. So please, by all means, start tweeting.
Get loud.
Get loud, because I am dying to do that one. Dying to do that.
Oh, the funny thing is your role in the statement of dying to do it just gives me so much joy. So for both of you, what I love, besides the fact that you have such a great relationship, you are absolutely adorable together, and as being a person who has siblings, understanding the joy of loving a person to the fact that sometimes, you want to push them. Both of you, both mentally, physically, and in your work, but both of you at some point have used your platforms to support causes for social justice. And I love how you've made that choice, right? Like specifically Chris, with your project A Starting Point, and Scott, you were so incredibly vocal during the Black Lives Matter the protests and just in support of the movement. Why is it so important for both of you? Because you make a conscious choice to use your platform in that way. Why is it so important for both of you to utilize your platforms for those reasons? And we'll actually start off with Scott.
Well, I mean, honestly, I myself am a member of a marginalized group, of a group that's been fighting for equal rights, the LGBTQIA plus community. We've been, fighting for rights as well. So when I see any other group, whether it be because of race or sexuality or gender or anything, it just being victimized or being marginalized, it makes me want to say something and stand up and fight, because I know how hard the fight is personally from my own experience, that I know that without allies and without support, it's even harder. And so it just, that's my driving force behind wanting to be vocal about it and use my platform for whatever reason that I have, for whatever I can.
Well said. I don't know if I can top that one. Yeah, I mean, I was kind of anti-social media for a little while, but you see how with minimal effort, a few types on a keyboard, you can move the needle. You can shine a light. You can try and help in these small ways, and it just feels it's hard to rationalize why not. You know what I mean? It just feels you feel it feels wrong not to.
I love that, and it speaks volumes for a lot of folks who've made that decision to kind of utilize their following and their voice to be that voice, especially now when we can't always be out there like we want to be, as we continue to follow safety protocols. So
Just nothing worse than like when there is something that major happening, whether it's a protest or a movement or something huge in the world, and then you see people with millions of followers be like, "Hey guys, so my new moisturizer," like real, and you're just like, "What are you doing? What are you doing?" It just doesn't.
The moisturizer.
Yeah, they're like, "My under eyes. Are you tired from marching?" You're like, "Jesus Christ!" So toned down.
Yo, Scott, okay, so I was switch over. I gotta know, you're a younger sibling, which I love, because younger siblings, good, bad, ugly. I personally am pro younger sibling. Sorry, Chris. Older siblings have a little bit of an influence on us, though, and we've talked about this a little bit. What has been your biggest influences in your life and your career, and like why theater, why acting? Like I've read the articles, but I love asking personally.
Well, the funny thing is being a younger sibling and him being an older sibling, we're actually also both of the other things. He's also a younger sibling and I'm also an older one because we're sandwiched between two sisters. So we, for everything that I took as a younger sibling, I got to turn right around and be like, now I get to dish it out. But growing up, it's so funny having older siblings that you actually are friends with and you actually do love. And there was never a time that we were fighting and, hating on each other and locking the bathroom doors. We always wanted to be together. So the influences didn't have to be like, oh, that's the one thing I like that they're doing. It was all the things I liked that they were doing. So if one of them was doing something, I wanted to do it. And I think when our older sister started doing children's theater at our local theater, I think at first my mother was just like, this is easy for the carpool, everybody do it. But it was just sort of like, I want to do it. And I remember the first time I saw her doing shows, it was exciting. And then seeing her and Chris do shows together, I was like, 8 or 9 years old and just wanting to be 10 when you could audition. And that first time getting in there and being able to be on stage with them was just like, this is the coolest experience. I am sharing a stage with my favorite people. So it's just like, whatever they were doing, I wanted to do.
I love it. And in my heart, I feel like Chris is going to eventually direct something with you in it, and just makes me so very happy.
We have. There's a lot of old home videos from us growing up. So I hope they never surface, but we've worked together from an early age. He was Gaston, I was LeFou. It was very exciting.
Oh, this is all I want to see now in my life.
I don't know if you can say specific, like what year was Beauty and the Beast?
All 4 kids were in it. Carly was too old.
Carly was too old to be doing it, but I was teetering.
But she had a built-in cast that she could just boss around and direct, and we put on those shows.
We did.
I mean, when you have a built-in cast, this is what you do. You just you create. All right, so Scott, much like Chris, you've had an extremely interesting career. Not the same, very much your own unique path. You've had a fun journey. You've got a plethora of credits, soap operas, Grace and Frankie, and you've had a recent role in a romantic comedy, Almost Love. If you could pick one, and please don't sue me, and if you can't, it's fine. Has there been a highlight in your career besides playing LeFou next to your brother?
It's hard to top that. It's really hard to top that. I mean, honestly, the most recent movie, the romantic comedy Almost Love, was such a highlight for me just because it was actually, with all the credits that I have, it was actually my first time being number 1 on a cast list, which is sort of like, you see that and you're like, oh my God, I'm the lead. And then the next names you see on that list are like Kate Walsh and Augie Prue and Michelle Buteau and Colin Donnell. And you're just like, holy hell, like, how am I going to do this? So that was truly, truly an incredible experience. But also at the same time, my mother got to play my mother when I was on the soap opera, which was equal parts incredible and equal parts insane. It was the weirdest.
I feel like it would be terrifying, right? Because it's a soap opera. There's always drama. So how do you even?
Well, it was just great. I mean, I think their first take, they were like action, and she was like, I forgot my line. Like, and she just like completely blanked, and it was so crazy. But definitely a highlight for sure.
Oh, I love it. So I have to mention, because it was a lot of the fan questions. Fans really love your voice. Are there some musicals in your future?
Oh, you mean this fucking rasp? Oh my God, I swear.
Oh, you're fine. We'll bleep it. It's great.
Bleep it, please.
I swear these all the time. It's okay.
That's so funny. I like don't even know when I sing, but Chris and I, we sing all the time. Like, you're not gonna find us not listening to music in the car and harmonizing. And every other day we're sending each other songs. We're like, learn this harmony, because next time we're together, we're singing it. And so it's just like we do karaoke on like a Friday night at his house. Like, could be just the two of us.
I'm sorry. Yeah. What is our go-to karaoke song? Like, we can't let this. This is very important.
I don't know if we have a go-to karaoke song, do we?
Duet, but we've sung "Agony" from Into the Woods before. That was a good time, because we are, at heart, a musical theater family.
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't know, my go-to songs, they switch depending on the mood, but I do love a little George Michael, Faith, it's a little fun.
That's a good choice. What about you, Chris? Do you have a go-to karaoke song?
Oh man, I don't know. I mean, mine are probably a little cheesier. I mean, I like, it's the things that are a little bit easier to sing. I got buddies out here that do a lot of karaoke too, and we harmonize. And things that are like a little more James Taylor-y, that are just a little bit easier and more gentle.
I enjoy this. Yeah. I like it. I do hope there is a musical in both of your futures. I mean, short futures. All right. So last but not least, do you have any dream roles, Scott, before we get to fan questions? Is there like a dream role that you're just like, this is it?
I don't know. John Hinckley. I love murder stuff and assassination stories and everything, and Assassins is one of my favorite musicals, and just I see myself when I look at him, because I think I kind of look like him, so I've always kind of had that in the back of my head, I guess. But that's a weird dream role to have, I guess. I don't know. I mean,
the world is well versed on your love of crime thrillers and
I know, and now I look like a murderer.
I was gonna say, you look like a psycho.
I'm just suspect right now. I'm like, the face you see.
I'm neither gonna confirm nor deny that at all. All right, so fan questions. As I mentioned, we got 2,000 fan questions. Fans, I want to thank you all for your creativeness. Hopefully, I've already hit on a number of things you wanted to know. But we are going to start off, and if I murder any of your names, I'm real sorry. So the first up, we've got Kylie Kiwi Crisp, which I can't tell if that's because of the fruit or where they're from. If you could switch roles with anyone in the Marvel Universe, who would it be and why? This clearly is for Chris, but Scott, I'm going to add you in this and say, if you could play anyone in the Marvel Universe, who would it be? So I'm going to give Chris a chance, because he's got a lot of friends that he doesn't want to that he doesn't want to alienate. And I'm going to give, Scott, if you could have a Marvel role, what would it be?
I'll say Downey, Iron Man. Paychecks would be nice, but just the role is so fun. The role is, he's the engine, he's the life. But I suppose that's kind of signing up for failure. I don't think there's anything anyone on this planet could do that would somehow improve upon what Downey's done. You know what I mean? I don't consider that a role that's going to be like a James Bond or a Superman or Batman, that somehow other people get a bite at the apple. He's Iron Man, the end,
Yeah, no, absolutely. What about you, Scott? If you could be in the Marvel Universe?
All right, I had two answers, and both of them are women. It would be Black Widow, just because I think that's such a fun part, and the fight sequences are so good and so fun when she
want the outfit,
wraps legs around while I have the outfit. But if I could have any powers, it would be Scarlet Witch for sure, just because she got everything. She got mind control. She's flying. She's and I'm recently obsessed with WandaVision, so I got Scarlet Witch on the brain.
a lot of people had Scarlet Witch on the brain, all the
Yeah.
spoilers. So, so our next question is, hi, my question is, what is the biggest and most influential piece of advice that you have been given that has really impacted your life for the better? Love from the UK.
Mine wasn't necessarily advice. Someone just kind of once said, just kind of said, shush, and it was in response to me having a bit of an over analytical question, and it wasn't an answer, but it wasn't avoiding the question. It was an answer. It was an answer that is universal. That really is about kind of stilling your brain noise, recognizing that the majority of the stuff you grapple with is just noise, and it reinvents, and it's cyclical, and it's not, it's not turning your back on something. It's not kind of quitting or giving up. It's kind of letting it kind of wash over you, and then the shush of it all is just kind of being able to cultivate the ability to be still and be present, and if you can do that, then circumstance becomes a little more inconsequential.
I love that. And it also seems like a really good tip for folks. A lot of folks asked about anxiety, which, folks, everybody on this video has been very open about, handling anxiety with a lot of stuff on your plate, especially like in this world. So that's a great piece of advice.
It always makes you feel better. Always, no matter what. Just, hey, Chris.
I actually currently feel better. Thank you.
There you go.
What about you, Scott?
I don't know if mine is something that was said to me or just something I kind of learned or, based on life experience, but just to do your best to always show who you are and to like be yourself. And I think that has a lot to do with me, living a lot of my life in the closet and, being afraid to actually live my authentic self, live my life authentically. And I think once that happened, it was sort of just like, there's all these people saying like, well, maybe you shouldn't do it for this reason, or be careful of doing this and be careful when you're out in public with this. And it's just sort of like the second you can like get rid of all that crap and just kind of, own who you are and forget what other people think, it just, it's extremely freeing. So I think that's been good for me.
All right. So I promised that I wasn't going to ask any questions about embarrassing childhood memories. I did not promise the fans weren't going to ask questions about childhood memories. Chicken Nugget, who I had to just pick because it's Chicken Nugget, like Chicken Nuggies.
Those are the favorite childhood memory.
Nuggies. For both Scott and Chris, what's your favorite childhood memory that you remember?
I mean, we shared a lot of memories.
We have so many. I mean, go, you go.
Well, no, one of my favorite childhood memory stories is actually one that you always tell about the trampoline, and I love when you tell it, and you should tell it.
Yeah.
Then Scott was like, "You got this, Chris."
Well, because it's just like it's such a good brother moment, and it just I remember having a lot of these and just being able to Chris and I would just be sitting there, we'd be on a plane ride somewhere and he would sit there and say, don't move. And he would draw me and I would just sit there still and be like, this is amazing. I just it's just the weirdest stuff like that. We did sleepovers with each other instead of friends and just had those connections.
I was going to say, we there was a period of time, and like we said earlier, the four of us as siblings were all very tight, but Scott and I certainly were a subset of closeness. We shared a room for a while, and I was going to say, we had a condo up in New Hampshire where we would go in the winter to ski, and in the summer there was some crappy water park. But as kids, we would all go up. There was a little mini. This little loft that all the kids would stay in. That was 1,000 degrees, and but those little drives up to New Hampshire, and I don't know. For me, it's not individual moments. It's more about just the little those pockets of kind of what's the word? It's not just intimacy. It's like safety. You know what I mean? There was a real sense of safety I felt. I was a nervous kid. I cried at the first day of school and camp and all that shit. So for me, I just liked being with my family, with my siblings in a safe environment. And so going on vacations, going places that would normally alone cause me a lot of anxiety. But being thrilled to do it because I had my crew, I had my little my posse with me. Those were just great memories, even though it's just you're just driving to New Hampshire for kind of nothing. But it was, some of my best memories.
All right, so we have two more questions, and then we're going to close it out because I can't keep you forever, although I could listen to y'all talk about each other forever. The interwebs will kill me if I do not ask this question. What do you think of the nickname Chris Jamal Evans? And when is the last time someone talked to you about Captain Acrylica? That was the other question that did not make it to the list, but I gotta ask.
Captain Acrylica, I haven't heard that one.
I got my nails done just for this.
I think the nickname's hilarious, and that period of time when it was just acrylics on every single photo, it never didn't make me laugh. I just had no idea how.
We have our family group thread. We were sending those pictures to each other all day.
I mean,
yes,
they crack me up. They really they get me every time. No, I'm a big fan.
Oh, I had to ask because people are actually quite a fan of Chris Jamal Evans.
Yeah, I mean, they get that position not just in interviews or on a red carpet or something. They get it in movie screen. Like I'm doing this through my character. It's like apparently I can't stop making these hand gestures. I don't know.
It's your safe space. It's where you feel complete. All right, so last one, softball question. Chris and Scott, hello from the Ukraine. What kind of music inspires you? Is there such a song that could instantly bring you out of depression or a bad mood? For example, and we couldn't fit all of it, so I'm so sorry I did not get your favorite song. But like, is there a song for you that's like?
I mean, there's certainly like a genre. I'm a big 80s. Like I love Steve Winwood, Bruce Hornsby. Scott and I have a real love of Every Little Kiss and Mandolin Rain, and these are songs from our youth. Our father was a big fan of this type of music.
Phil Collins.
Yeah, Phil Collins.
How could you not love Phil Collins, though?
It's just got a real, positive anthem-y, kind of vibe to it. When the sun is shining, it's just, put on Take Me Home, and I'm having a good day.
And your rollerblades.
Right, exactly.
I'm sorry, time out. Chris, did you rollerblade?
I'm amazing at rollerblades.
Bill.
Yeah, I love rollerblading. I don't know when rollerblading became uncool, because that shit's awesome.
That's how I learned. I learned on rollerblades.
On your feet. How can you not like that?
You're going so fast.
Come on, you square. Enjoy it. No, yeah, Scott and I both love rollerblading.
Well, we got an extra answer out of that one.
Yeah.
All right. So closing answers. I gotta ask. We kind of got to my favorite playlist question. But are there any books that either of y'all are reading? I know y'all are. Chris, you're a big reader. Scott, I don't know yet. Maybe you are. I'm sure that you read a lot of things. You're an actor, you got to. But are there any books or anything else that's on your content list right now that you want to share with folks?
What's the one? Gun, Germs, and Steel. I've had about 1 million people tell me about this book, and I finally got it. So I just started it last night, and so far I'm loving it. I also got the next book to Sapiens. His next book is a Homo Deus. Is that what it's called? It's sitting on my coffee table right now. And then I'm also reading a book about Gene Kelly's life, which has been really, really enlightening and kind of interesting.
I can imagine that people don't know half of Gene Kelly's life.
Yeah. Well, he was, he was a tough man, but he had a very interesting upbringing. You know what I mean? He comes from meager beginnings and wasn't a dancer initially. He was a little athlete. You know what I mean? Dancing didn't kind of happen. That wasn't his main focus as a kid.
Oh, what about you, Scott?
Instead of answering with books, I'm going to answer with something that I'm into recently. I just on a little road trip with my boyfriend, we listened to a podcast called The Gateway about this woman, Teal Swan, and it's pretty wild. It's she's sort of like a self-help guru, but it's it's true insanity. And I, like I said, I'm very much into murder and stuff. I'm also very much into cults. So I recommend that, and Holy Hell, the docuseries about a really cool cult that I could have seen myself joining if I had lived back then. Thank God I didn't.
Cult culture is hand in hand to murder shows, so this does not at all surprise me. All right, so what can you tell folks about your upcoming projects? Obviously, everybody knows where to find you both, but is there anything you can tell us kind of to close out on things folks should be looking forward to going into 2021?
I think coming up, you should be looking forward to, Chris and I are going to be seeing each other in about a week. So look forward to some more scare videos.
Yeah, we'll get something out there for you guys. We'll do something. We'll think of something clever.
I have no doubt in my mind that this will be epic. Thank you both, Scott, Chris. Y'all are fantastic. Folks, just look forward, stay tuned. Lots of really cool stuff coming from Ace Comic-Con, and also like lots of cool stuff coming from these incredible humans that I just got a chance to talk to. Thanks, y'all.
Thank you so much.
Good to see you.